we will look at decimals and understand the basic decimal styles. Okay, decimals are very similar to fraction. In fact, decimals are used together with fraction to represent part of a whole number. For example, if we have fractional 1 over 2, which is half, this means that it's less than 1, which is the whole number. And we will learn that we can represent 1 over 2 as 0.5, right? 0.5. How to get this? Because 1 over 2 is essentially 1 divided by 2. And if you get 1 divided by 2, right, you do it this way, right? 0, and not enough, you have to put 0 and 5 here. Okay, so we will look at this division operation in detail in another subsequent lecture, right? So we have probably used a lot of decimals in our daily lives. For example, when we use dollar and cents, if I have $1, I can write it as 1.00, right? And if I have 50 cents, for example 50 cents, this is equivalent to half a dollar, right? Similarly, if I have 25 cents, this is equal to a quarter or 1 over 4 of a dollar, right? So this means that this is equivalent to 0.5 and this is equivalent to 0.25, right? Getting rid of the dollar sign. So by this relationship, we see that fraction and decimals are closely related, right? We can write decimal into fraction, and we can convert fraction into decimal as well, right? If I have 0.01, which is 1 cent, this is equivalent to 1 over 100 of a dollar, right, which is equivalent to 0.01. So next, let's look at the place value of decimal, right? We start with a whole number first. If I have 4672, right? So what this means is that essentially I have 4000 plus 600 plus 70 plus 2, right? So the meaning of 4672 in this whole number here, it has a certain value. So 4 represent 1000, 6 represent 100, 7 represent tens, and 2, right? So 4672 can be written, right? Behind 2 here, there is actually a decimal, right? And 00, right? So both these number here, they have the same value. Okay, if we represent it this way, this is where our decimal will come in, and then 00, right? So similarly, if we have another number 4672.389, right? So this is a decimal number. So the decimal point will follow 4672. The 3 here and 89, the value respectively. 3 here meaning it's out of 3 out of 110, and 8 is hundreds, 9 is thousands. So this one here, it means 1 over 10, 1 over 100, 1 over 1000, right? So 9 here means I have 9 part out of 1000. So that means I have 0.009, right? So if you see the position of the decimal 9 here is 0.009, right? So that is the meaning, right? Next, we look at leading and trailing zero. If I give you 27, for example, right, if another 027 or 0027, now does the zeros in front of 27 carry any value? Actually, all these are similar. The value is 27, right? If we put 27 in the table, we will see that if we put a 0 in front here, it means we have 0 of 100. So that means nothing. So the 0 in front actually carries no meaning, right? Carries no meaning here. How about a 0 behind a decimal place? For example, if I have 34 point, right, after a decimal place, 8, 34.80, 34.800, right? To understand whether the 0 behind a decimal has any value or not, we can put in 34.8, okay? So the 0 behind 8 here, if we put into the table, we will see that it represents 0 of 100 and 0 of 1,000. So that means this one here actually carries no value. So therefore, they are all represent the same, 34.8, right? So we can easily see that for a whole number, we can write as 4.0, 28, for example, 28.0. These are essentially the same, right? Now another example is 0.0070. Alright, so here you have 5 zeros, right? We know that the zeros, the 0 in front of a whole number, which is this 0 here, it carries no value, right? It's shown here, okay? It carries no value. And then a 0 behind a decimal place, this one, right, which is shown by this, carries no value, right? So this number is equivalent to 450.007. Now pay attention that the zeros in between cannot be discarded, okay? You have to keep the value here because it carries a value, right? So that is the meaning of leading and trailing 0.